What's up, people? I got boogies. God damn it. Do I have anything? I have anything in my nose? Look at this. Oh wait, hold on. We got a minute. Look at Liam in its glory. So it's almost that time. We got Liam in the background, so we're getting ready to do a raffle on him. As I've said a couple of videos in a row, and everybody's been hounding me for details on how to actually enter the raffle and win him. And that's what this video is for primarily. Second half of it is pretty much just going to be reminiscing about, I don't know, some of my notable or favorite things about the past couple of years that we've had with Liam. It's been about, I think it's coming up on 5 years almost. So anyway, before all of that, before we go down memory lane, we need to take care of some specifics. So how do you enter the raffle? How much is it for? All of these things. We'll get to that right now. So first of all, how this is going to happen. I'm going to give you all the details that you need to know right now, but this does not mean that the raffle is live. The next video that comes out is going to be when the actual raffle goes live. So everybody who watches the videos, y'all are going to get a first shot because the link is not going to be made, shared and posted and everything on Facebook until the next video goes live. So the next video is going to have the link to the Facebook page. That's one thing that you have to understand is that this, the official page for is going to be on Facebook. Ryan Crabtree is going to help me out with it, so it's going to be on his page. He's going to help me run it and get everybody's names and keep everything in order and whatnot. So it's going to be on Facebook, so you need to at least be able to have access to Facebook. You don't have to have a Facebook, but the link that we post in the next video, you're going to need to be able to navigate to it. So as long as you can click on a link, you can do it on your phone, I've already verified, or you could do it on a desktop or laptop or whatever. If you go to the link, you should be able to see the actual post itself, which is going to show what numbers are available. So when you go there, make sure that you're picking a number that shows that it's available. So how we split it up and everything, it's going to be 170 spots and $100 each spot. So one entry is going to be $100. You can get however many entries you want. If you want to do 5 entries, it's $500. However many you want, just pick the numbers, and it's going to be $100 per spot. Now, the way we're going to actually do the winners, there's going to be 3 winners. The first roll is going to be for $700. So just flat out money back, $700. The second roll is going to be for $1,300. So, I wanted to make these decent chunks of money for the people that don't get the truck. You still have a chance to win something else. So, $700 first roll, $1,300 second roll, and then third roll is going to be Liam. All right, so a couple of people have asked, if you don't have any means of social media, how do you get the entry? So, ideally, you want to have a Facebook so that you can actually just comment on the post itself to say what spot you want and give us your information. If you don't have Facebook, then you can leave a comment in the video, the next video that comes out that actually says that the raffle is live. That's the video that you would put your comment in if you don't have social media. Please don't put your comment in there with your information and the number that you want. If you have Facebook, please make it easy on us. Go to Facebook if you have it and do it there. But if you don't, I know there's a couple of you, and I want to make sure, because the couple of guys that don't have social media, tend to watch the videos the most. So I want to make sure you guys actually can get in there. So the stuff that we're going to need from you guys as far as to get your entry in there is, one, the number spots that you want, and then payment information. So whether it's PayPal, Cash App, or Zelle, make sure that you give us your username or the email address that's associated to that payment app. That's one of the things that we'll provide in the next video, is the actual payment information for me for each of those apps. Okay, so that's pretty much the specifics. Do me a huge favor, leave any comments on this video if we missed a detail that you got a question on, but please don't ask, like, is it live now, or how do I enter? Listen to the details that we, go back and listen to them again, make sure that we didn't actually cover your question in there. But yeah, that's pretty much just of it. It's going to be on Facebook. For people that don't have social media, they can leave a comment on the next video that comes out, which will be the indication that the Raffle is live. It will contain the link to the Facebook page. And yeah, we'll go from there. Hopefully it fills up quick and we can, knock it out for the weekend. That's the other thing. So if anybody, whoever wins, it is entirely your responsibility to come and pick it up. And honestly, it needs to be within a decent amount of time. And we can kind of discuss and figure out what the situation is, but preferably within a week or two of the winning, you need to be able to come and pick it up. So bring a trailer, or if it's not too far away, you're more than welcome to just drive it to where you want if you're local. If you're across the country, keep in mind that you will have to come and pick it up, and we don't want to be holding on to the truck for months. It's just going to sit here, and we honestly don't have the room. We need to start working on both the El Camino and the Civic. It's part of the reason why we're actually doing this. So yeah, be prepared, I guess, to come pick it up. I didn't really give like a general rundown of the truck. I mean, I've said it a ton of times in all of the videos, but I guess we'll do a brief overview. So it's stock bottom end. It, for the longest time, was an L33. I don't actually know what bottom end is in it anymore. I assume it's a LC9 probably. It's a Gen 4 aluminum bottom end right now. But stock pistons and rods, stock everything down low. LS7 lifters, LS9 head gaskets, stock push rods, stock rockers, just a good set of valve springs and retainers, and then a Summit cam that is basically a copy of a Z06 cam, because we really liked Z06 cam, but we heard it on one of the times that we heard the motors, so we had to go and find like a copy of it. So that's all it is. And Ford 8.8 rear end, 340 gears. The wheels, they're Weld Pro Stars, Poverty Stars. That's all. I don't know. They work for me. A lot of people make fun of them, but. And then the tires are the Mickey Thompson Radial Pros. They have 3 passes on them and a little less than 200 miles of driving time on them, so brand spanking new. And honestly, we've run those things all the way down to like the very last bit, and at least in this truck, they keep doing pretty much the ideal 60 foot for the truck all the way until the very end. So yeah, we'll come with those wheels. It's on Holley HP, and it has the input, the I/O expansion pack, I guess, the I/O module attached to it, so plenty of inputs and outputs still available. It's got a 7-inch Holley dash, like the digital dash. You're gonna get the tune that's in the truck. What I use on a daily basis right now, there's a lot of settings that are available that I don't necessarily use all the time. Some of them I haven't used in a long time, but they're still available there as a selectable switch. Whoever wins it, if you guys got any questions, if you're just going to retune it yourself, no problem. But if you got some questions about kind of how those things work, I'd say go watch the videos where I explained it. No, but we can probably help, or I can probably help answer some questions that you might have about it. But it's pretty straightforward. What else? The turbo that's on it is the original turbo that we had on there, so it's an actual 75 millimeter. For the longest time, we had that 88 on there, but we just wrote 75 on there as a joke, because the actual 75, everybody used to think that it was bigger than it actually was. So yeah, we got the actual 75 BorgWarner on there, workhorse of a turbo, probably capable of making around 950 horsepower, not a crazy amount more. I think when we dynoed it last time with a different converter and still had the intercooler on there, which I think was more of a restriction than it was really helping, because I never put any ice in it. It made like just under 910 or something like that, turned all the way up. So what else? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, odds and ends. Oh, turbo 400 transmission, good to 1200 horsepower. Never done us wrong. That one actually has a lot less miles on it than the original one. We swapped it out because we thought we were hurting the transmission. We thought it was slipping, but it was actually just the converter. Yeah, also the converter that's in there is kind of perfect for the turbo that's on it. You will not exceed the power that converter can hold. Converter comes up real quick. Same thing with the injectors. The injectors that are in it are more than enough. I think maxing that turbo out, it's still only at like 85% duty cycle or something like that. So should be great for that. Yeah, I don't know, bunch of odds and ends with the fuel system. MagnaFuel 750, the 4303. Wiring for a second one, if you want to put another one in there. Yeah, I mean, if you want to know more about the truck, just, go watch some previous videos. We talk about it quite a bit. Pretty much I think it's like right at that level where it starts getting, you're like right in between a fun street car that you could just take out whenever the hell you want, and it's starting to get a little bit like, too racy. It is not the most pretty thing in the world. I don't care about the way things look. I never have, and that's kind of shows in what it looks like. I couldn't even get the bumper back on because when we wrecked it, the pieces that actually hold the bumper on are a little bit too mangled up. So I can't get the bumper back on until those things get straightened out. So that's unfortunately how it's going to stay. But mechanically wise, everything is great, and that's all I really used to care about. So. The wiring is a lot of it, or I think pretty much all of it is done by me, and it's not the greatest, but it all works. And I've never had an issue, any major issues with wiring. Yeah, I mean, it's not the prettiest thing in the world. It's a bit of a shitbox, but it works really, really well. We paid attention to the areas that needed attention, and it's always worked out for us. So hopefully whoever gets it really enjoys it. All right, so going down memory lane, we built this truck. A friend of mine, Bora Torque. He owned a shop called Torque Automotive in Colorado. Did a lot of performance stuff, also maintenance stuff, and I met him doing a bunch of Honda tuning in Colorado, and just kind of became friends. And we wanted to do this project, and he seemed really interested in it, so. We decided to basically do it kind of after hours and weekends at his shop. And so every day after work, I would drive like an hour and 15 minutes up to his shop. Keep in mind, this was, I lived in Colorado Springs at the time, so I drove probably about an hour to work. And then he was probably, it really should have only been like 45 minutes, but because of traffic and everything, as soon as I got out of work, I was basically going to him in rush hour, so it was like an hour and 15 minutes to him. And then late at night, so we'd work on it for a couple of hours, every other weekday, and then Saturdays. But on the weekdays, I'd come back home, and it's like, midnight or 1 o'clock, and I'm driving, hour and a half to 2 hours back home, and depending on if there was any construction. So it was, it was rough. Like, considering that's the hours that we spent on it, we actually got it done pretty quick. I think it took us like 8 months or something like that. Not every weekend either. Like, we had other stuff to do. We, used some weekends to go racing or work on customer cars and things like that. So, but he was a huge help. Like, everything, his knowledge, like I've said this a bunch of times, I'm slow as hell at working on cars, on wrenching cars. I don't know, I don't know why I'm so damn slow. He is really, really fast and, comes up with solutions quickly. Now, it was, if I would have just gotten out of his way and said, here you go, build something, it would have been so much nicer than what we ended up with. But I was trying to do this on a really tight budget, and that included the price of the truck. I always wanted one of these things, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do it now, but LSs seem like they're the way to go. Because I actually wanted to originally do a SR20 in it. So yeah, I mean, we dove into it, but I was really super strict on the budget, and I wanted to spend in the important places, like getting the right engine management, having multiple sets of wheels. That seems like a minor thing, but to me it was really important because I wanted to be able to, either run multiple classes or wanted to be able to drive it on the street, and I didn't want it to be a pain to swap out tires, be stuck on that tire and then not want to go and drive it. I wanted a set of hard tires, at the same time have slicks, and then or have a radial and then at the same time have slicks, depending on what surface we wanted to go on. So stuff like that kind of cut into the budget, and so we had to make some sacrifices. And I was also really concerned with just wanting to get it going as quickly as possible because we wanted to race somebody as soon as we got it done. And so, we had a deadline, and we made some sacrifices, I'll just say that. So, I don't know, this first clip or whatever, or this first clip kind of just shows, us working in the shop. And this one was specifically with Truck Madness. So there's a race in Colorado that it was all trucks, and they had a couple of decent money prizes for, I think, the fastest truck on the property, and then there was like a specific class. And it wasn't like, I don't even think it was actually racing. I think it was just fastest time stuff. So fastest time in your class or fastest time on the property. And so the truck was broken at the time. We had destroyed the rear diff at a previous race, I think probably like 2 weeks before that. And I was like, well, that's it. I'm done for the season. We were getting ready to move down to Texas. So I was like, we'll just, call it. And he was like, no, screw that. He's like, I tell you what, if I fix it and you win, then you pay labor. And he's like, I'll fix it, but if you don't win, then you don't pay anything. So, I mean, hell of a gamble because he was doing a lot of work. I mean, we had to fix we had rotated the housing because the welds on the tubes broke on the rear end. So yeah, I mean, it was new gearing, new yoke, new drive shaft, and all of the labor obviously to get it straightened out and weld it back up. So it's a ton of work. And yeah, I mean, here's how it went. I mean, we got lucky. It rained out, but we got in the fastest pass right before it rained, and we walked away with the money. Hey, the pinion came through. Oh shit! Hang on. No. Screw your shop floor. This thing, right? Oh, it's broken anyway. We're good. Actually, I don't even think those two teeth broke until we started winching it up the trailer. And we did get this side rotated back to where it was supposed to be. We had to use like a strap and a pry bar. We were talking earlier when we were working on this on Saturday, and we were like, we won't need Thursday, so we'll just come back Tuesday and, get the axles back in there and start wrapping everything up, and then maybe do some testing on Thursday. But still going to be working on it on Thursday. But it shouldn't be too bad because the whole center is going to be done.
Except for one axle.
Yeah, got to slip the axle in.
Wheels there and brakes.
Yep, and then just reassemble the brakes back on there. Put the wheels on. I'll bring the slicks up with me. Maybe we can make a test hit just to see if it goes straight. Because that's probably my only worry with this is that, we bent the tubes back. We're pretty sure everything is back to where it used to be. If we are slightly off on, anything, it could affect the behavior of the truck when we launch. So hopefully it still goes straight. Remade that, got it back installed, so we're just gonna have to center the rear end with that once we get the tires on there. And then we're good to go. See what it does. Bora makes the dream work.
All right.
This thing seems to be ready to go. So yeah, I just want to thank Bora and anybody else that's ever had a hand in the car, man. Tons of people have helped along the way. I mean, especially in, the initial build of it. Like, a lot of people helped out, stayed those late nights, hung out with us. And so yeah, I just appreciate all of that help. What we ended up building did exactly what the goal was. The goal of this thing was to have as much fun as possible. If it was competitive, awesome. But it was really just about having fun. So mission accomplished. So one of the other things that I really enjoyed, one of the other awesome things was when Tanya was able to drive it. So like I have almost just as much fun watching her drive and like tuning the truck while she's racing as I do actually driving it itself. That's why I'm not really too concerned about getting rid of this. It's going to be a little while before I have something to drive again, but we're going to be finishing up the El Camino, and so I get to, you know, tune that thing for her and help her out with that. So it's a ton of fun. So yeah, here's a couple of clips of her driving. Do I need to?
Yeah.
We're in a parking lot.
There's poles.
Oh, they want you to do a pull. We put her on, we were practicing for hard tire, and we put her in the car, and I told her, I was like, look, I just got finished testing it. You can just, you know, it should hook. You should keep it floored. You should be okay. So, I mean, I told her to keep it floored, and she absolutely did, even though it was spinning and, you know, trying to go sideways. So, you know, and it wasn't really all just like fun passes where she'd hop in and she'd do it. I mean, she raced people and she got it down. She had a little bit of trouble with the lights, but once she got comfortable in the truck, I mean, she looked like a pro. I mean, I can't, if you were to tell me, I couldn't really tell you who was driving the truck when she won Streetcar Takeover. I mean, she was having tons of problems in the beginning, and then when it counted, like when she actually had to race somebody and do the light properly and, you know, hit a good tree, dude, she was a pro. So I don't know where the hell she pulled it out, but yeah, she did really good once it counted. Offered to do a 50-50 split for the final instead of racing for the 80-20. Tanya was like, nah, I want that 80. So if she wins, she gets 80%. If she loses, she gets 20%. So either way, you know, we go home with some money. So then probably my most favorite thing to do with the truck. Now, we enjoyed doing a lot of street stuff. That's kind of what it was built for in the first place, because we knew it wasn't going to make a crazy amount of power, but we wanted to be really good about using it. I mean, coming from front-wheel drive stuff, and especially front-wheel drive stuff on the street from a dig, you kind of have to be good at, or at least be conscious of mechanical grip, getting as much mechanical grip as you can, and power management, not spinning too much to where you're not going anywhere. So we wanted to apply all of that. And so, you know, we figured the street was where it was gonna do its best. But we found a nice little, you know, spot. Like, so when I was in Colorado, I knew of Yellow Belly, the gut. It looked like just this unique place. It was like right in between street and track. I mean, people that say that like, oh, it's worse than the street, that's definitely not true. Yellow Belly is not worse than the street. It's better than even the best street. Don't get that mixed up. But it is not a good track either. So it was, I mean, like I said, it's the only track that I know of. I mean, I guess there's a couple out there, but it's probably the best example of between track and street. I didn't realize it until we went down there, but man, that is exactly where Liam was meant to be. It was, you know, it made enough power to be competitive with some of the big guys, but it was efficient at using it because there was so much more grip there than there was on the street, and it was meant for the street. So it was plenty of grip. Like, it rarely had a problem with spinning at Yellow Belly. Here's a couple of clips. Like the first race that we went to, you know, they didn't even want to let us into the race. They didn't realize how much trouble we were having. I mean, the day before, literally, we popped out the freeze plugs on one of the heads. And we had just switched over to a new turbo, so I mean, it was like, you know, different power band. I wasn't even sure if we put it on the launch control. I wasn't even sure if it was just going to puke the freeze plug out and, you know, not be able to race. So they let us race, and, you know, we did end up winning. It was a great time, but we were trying at that time. Like, we were still trying to figure the thing out, and so that was cool. your car. Yeah, exactly, into your car.
There you go. Into my car.
Probably another notable one was I had raced Cody Hoffman twice at the Gut. The first time that we raced him, I just think, dude, the truck was doing awesome that day. Like, I decided to just turn it up, was hoping for the best as far as it, actually taking it. And I think that was a lot of these guys' first time at that track. And so it was a lot of street guys. And, I'm sure everybody told them the same thing, where it was like, oh, this is worse than the street, like, be careful, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of had an advantage because I had a ton of time there, and I knew how much power it would take. And so I put all that shit in right away. Whereas other people, I think, were still kind of like easing into it and figuring the track out. We got lucky. We did one test pass, and it was good. And the first elimination pass was against Cody, and I think as fast as people thought Liam was, I think they realized what it was up against with the LSSS truck, and it was, I think, a little bit of an upset, but. Always love racing Cody. I've raced him, on the street as well, and I don't know, it's just always a good race. It's always been close every single time that we've raced, so that's always enjoyable. But yeah, this was super cool.
Hey, check out how many people are pointing left on this thing. Kind of hurt my feelers a little bit.
That thing has dual parachutes on it, guys. Derek don't even got a parachute.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make you walk all the way out here. I know.
You put a wobble on?
Huh?
So good?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I guess that brings us to the street where it was meant to live, meant to be. It tends to do really good there. I don't think it was ever 100% catered to the street though. Like there are cars that like do absolutely terrible at the track and they're awesome on the street and vice versa. I think we sacrificed a little bit of efficiency at the track and sacrificed a little bit of efficiency on the street to be something where with minimal change we could go back and forth. And so that's another kind of like, I don't want to say selling point, but benefit of the truck is that it's pretty good at both, but it's not the best at either. The runs on the street that we did, when we were more catered to the street, we were still running a slick. I had the suspension set up different than it is on the radial. I guess I'll remember, so We came out with our friend Trent from Colorado. We were still living in Colorado, and we came out to the Kansas City Cash Days. I mean, that one was fun, for one. I mean, Liam was actually pretty slow at the time, and, you know, we got to make a pretty good showing out there. We tested a bunch. We tried to get it, you know, this was probably, I think, the first or second time of it at sea level, and so it was just a totally different monster. It was great. So much fun. And then shortly after that, I think it was only like 2 months after that or something, it was in December, that they were doing a cash days down in Dallas. And Trent said, shoot, let's go again. And so we did another trip, and we came down to Dallas, and I'm pretty sure that was the trip. We had already been thinking about coming down to Texas, but that was like dude, it was December, and we were racing with these awesome cars. Everybody was testing. Like, the motivation down here was just, I mean, that's you know what I wanted to be around. And so we had a great time there. I got lined up with Boosted GT. That was a pretty, you know, that was a fun race. I got my ass handed to me, I'll admit, but you know, we did okay. We didn't seem like we were completely out of place. And I think we would have done a lot better had we had a little bit more experience, which, you know, I think we have now, so. And then when we actually came down to Texas, one of the first races that we got to do was just a kind of impromptu cash days, or shootout, I should say. There was a track race that they were having for, or at Denton, and it was too cold or something. And so Denton closed down, and all those guys were planning on racing somewhere, so they were like, screw it, let's go to the street. And so somebody gave me a heads up that they were doing a race, and, you know, it was cars that were kind of, you know, in my league. And so we went out, and that was the first race that we had won. I mean, the truck was doing really good there. We were at a road that it was a great road. I don't think we've raced there in a really long time, but awesome road. A lot of you guys will probably recognize it in this clip. And yeah, we just had a good night, and we were able to, we got a little lucky too. Chris Wolf, unfortunately, I drew him, I think, second round, and he got a flat tire like literally right before we were coming up for the burnout. So dodged that bullet because he probably would have beat us. And then, yeah, and then we ended up winning in the final. The dude that we raced almost, or did hit the curb, luckily didn't crash it. But yeah, here's a couple of clips from, these clips are actually from 660 video.
Got a nitrous Chevy truck versus a turbo LS Nissan hard body. Go, boy. Final pair in first round. Nitrous Trans Am versus Nissan Turbo Pickup for the finals. Good driving, good driving. Ryan Lane, truck takes it.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that normal stuff. But if you guys have any questions, please, about the Raffle, leave a comment. But definitely rewind to the beginning and listen to all the details. Make sure we didn't already answer the question. And yeah, like I said, the next video is going to be when Raffle goes live. So make sure you have your bell clicked and all notifications on. And I mean, you guys should probably have that already anyway, because you want to see all the videos that we do. But yeah, so we'll get this whole thing underway. Liam will get a new home, and then we are going to start cranking on the El Camino as soon as possible. We want that thing race ready as soon as humanly possible, and this is going to help us out quite a bit in doing that. So yeah, anyway, good luck. Obviously, the next time that you see me is going to be when it was live. So good luck, and I appreciate it. Share it with your friends. Let's get this thing filled up so that we can get Liam its new home. Hopefully yours.